One said not guys, don't go buy update, it's just a short one guys. Pamusoro pa Maku ndojana chuma mitumbi mitatu yakasiya apkanya yakasiya aparadza kuno ku Great Britain kuno yakazokwanisa kusimuka kubva kuno. Unfortunately pakaita madelays because ndege yawo yakasimuka nemitumbi iyi, mutumbi womudzimai wake waakauraya, mwana wake waakauraya, nomwe mwana wake waakauraya mitumbi mitatu iyoyo. Inonzi ndege yawo yakanonoka kupinda muEthiopia ndobva yaifanira kuvachingura muEthiopia kuti ivaendese kuZimbabwe kubulawayo. Yakanga yatosumuka pakazosvika ndege yawo. Infact haina kudhaivetwa kunosvika yakadhaivetwa kunosvika paairport yaifanira kuendera kwakaita problem, so yakazonomhara pane imwe airport zvokuti tatatobatiraura maoko kuti asi Zandile haachadi kuenda kunoigwa kumusha kuZimbabwe here. Munoziva semunhukadzi anenge aine shungu dzisingaite guys. Handiti sezvinewo toda kutenda Mwari, mitumbi yavo waZandile nevana vake vaviri vekupondwa nemurume washona iyeyo Makichuma ari kuSouth Africa wazokwanisa kusvika muZimbabwe nhasi, wazokwanisa kusvika muZimbabwe ende wazotsvakirwa transport yekuti wakwanise kuenda kupi kwaBulawayo kwaari kunovigwa mangwana. Handiti so wasvika muZimbabwe wari kuenda kunovigwa kwaBulawayo mangwana. Ngatichemei pamwe chete nemhuri yekwaZandile nemhuri yekwashuma guys. Ingozi yauya mumusha, vana vaviri ava vari nani vana vedzinza ravo, asi Zandile kawe anoti kundiuraya ini navana vangu vaviri zvakaoma. Munhu anenge aine shungu dzakanyanyisa zvokuti takatombobatikana patakanzwa kuti kwaita mabhirizhongo endege, ndege yadhilewa ikazoendeswa kune imwe airport ikazosvika kuti connection yachona yekubva koko kuEthiopia kuya kuZimbabwe zvaizotora 6 hours kubva kudhati airport yadzakazosumuka. Asi tinotenda Mwari ende tinotendazve rudo rwenyu maZimbabwezi nekuchema nemhuri iyoyi. Rambai makangodaro, musaitire ivo chete, muitire kune vose vanenge vawirwa nemadambudziko vari mudiaspora. Handitika ende tinoda kukutendai guys nerudo rwenyu. Ndimakaita gofund kuti mutumbi waZandile nevana vake vaviri ikwanise kusumuka kubva kuno kuGreat Britain kuya kuZimbabwe. Rudo rwenyu guys maZimbabwe, ndimo makastrecha maoko mukapinda muhomwe dzenyu mukasepareshana nepfuma yenyu kuti hama yedu iendeswe kumusha nevana vayo vakapondwa nemurume ariko kuSouth Africa uku. Bezi remurume stupid yemurume iriko kuSouth Africa uku yakanga yatenga pfuti yekuda kuzvikudza. Unfortunately ikabatwa ikasungwa ende kunoku evidence dziripo dzakazara kuti dzekuratidza kuti akawauraya sei mukadzi wake nevana. You understand guys? Saka mova nezuva rakanaka guys, tiri pakuchema tiri
remember Notabo. I affectionately called her, and I know there's a few people in here who called her Maku, and that is how I'll be referring to her sometimes as I speak. But as we fondly remember Maku, or Notabo, Natalie, and Nala, words cannot begin to describe the depth of our loss and how we're feeling today. We grieve not only the loss of Notabo, Natalie, and Nala, but we grieve the loss of the future that has been stolen from them and from us. The years that we should have shared together, the celebrations of milestones, anniversaries, birthdays. And I think of the established routines so many of us will have shared with them that have suddenly stopped. Moments when we will see something they would have liked or laughed at, or had a perspective on. Moments we will grab our phones to share a laugh, to share a moment, a reel on social media. And I can imagine for Natalie's friends, the sharing of latest trends, dances to be tried out, places to visit. And when Christmas comes and nativity plays are in full swing, we will remember our own Nana as Mary a few Christmases ago. And these are such ordinary moments that will remind us of how so deeply woven they were into the very fabric of our lives. I want to start by talking about Maku. Her names, Notabo is one of the names she's been known as. In Ndebele language, this means mother of joy. It means mother of happiness. It means delight. And she was so aptly named. She was a ray of sunshine with an incredible gift of lighting up rooms she entered. And she didn't do this by being the loudest in the room. You felt her presence rather than heard her. You felt her calm presence, her quiet grace, and genuine warmth. And when life felt heavy, she brought light. And when there were reasons to celebrate, she multiplied our joy. Zandile means we have increased, or blessings have increased. And she was such a blessing to all who knew her. She blessed us with her dry wit, her remarkable intelligence, and her extraordinary ability to listen without judgment. She gave a fresh perspective to things. And I can just hear her voice in my head, you know, when you have already decided what you're going to do and you have a conversation with her, and she would come in and she'll say, "But Oli," and she'll do this with her hands, and say, "But have you considered?" And it would be back to the drawing board for me. She blessed us with her love for finer things in life. And I don't think it was out of extravagance, but more for the fact that she found joy in beauty and in quality. And learning and hearing about her in the hearing more about her in the last few weeks, I know that she's going to be missed at Waitrose in Bedford, where she was a regular and had a lot of John Lewis packages delivered. Maku was blessed with green fingers. And if you have been to her family home in Luveve and seen the beautiful garden, so lovingly and tenderly cared for, you would understand where that passion for gardening began. She loved gardening, she loved being in the garden. But I believe that she didn't just nurture flowers, she nurtured people. She nurtured us, and she nurtured Natalie and Nala. And standing here today, reading comments, and hearing all the different dimensions of her from those who knew and who loved her, and the impact she had on people's lives, I think she made you feel seen, she made you feel so loved, and she made you feel like you were understood. We've already heard from colleagues from FRA. She was an accomplished and driven woman. She had a successful career, and I absolutely loved listening to her talk about her work, her team at FRA, working across borders, working across different time zones. She was so passionate and proud of what she did, and I certainly got the impression that she was never one to do the bare minimum. She held herself to a high standard. She was the vice chair for the Female Forward Forum, a space she valued and where she was highly valued. And I want to share this from a tribute by FFF. They wrote this about her, and I absolutely loved it. And it says that her leadership was never about personal recognition, despite it being so rightfully deserved. It was about people. She reached people's hearts because she truly cared. And I think that really describes Maku in a few sentences. Yet of all her achievements, the role she treasured the most was being a mom to Natalie and Nana. She was so loving, so patient. She was protective, endlessly nurturing, and completely devoted to them. She believed in their potential and invested wholeheartedly into their future. She was intentional about creating opportunities for them to learn, to grow, and to flourish. Everything she did was with their future in mind. They were her greatest pride, her greatest joy, and the very center of her world. Natalie is so loving and so gentle. She was such a protective big sister to Nala. And I remember her at Nala's parties. She was helping to organize things, making sure things were in place, and keeping an eye on her mom. You would then see her branching off with a group of 4 or 5-year-olds. She would be entertaining them and playing with them. To me, she was Mrs. Sephora. She loved his smellies. She was into Vampire Diaries, and I would have conversations with Maku and she'd tell me that, oh, Natalie wants us to catch up on an episode of Vampire Diaries. And I would often hear her mom say that Natalie's run me a bath today. She was so protective of her mom and of Nala. She was intuitive and she possessed a quiet depth that touched everyone she knew. And then there's Nala. So confident, so fearless, wonderfully outspoken, and so full of life. Until this day, Ava, her best friend, and my little girl will continue to do a shake your bum bum dance, thanks to Nala. Nala absolutely loved and adored Natalie. And I'm told of times when Natalie was present at pickups, Nala would gather her friends to see her in the car. Nala had such a bright smile, and like her mom, she could light up the darkest of days. She loved K-pop, princesses, and hugs. She was very affectionate and caring, and she was also very aware of people's emotions and showed kindness and empathy. And so we are here today, holding this unimaginable grief, this unimaginable loss, remembering the joy, the happiness, the sheer delight, the blessings they each brought into our lives. The silence left by the absence is one words cannot adequately express. And so to our family and friends and to everyone who knew them and loved them, there are no words that can describe or remove our pain. But as we grieve, I want to leave you with the words from David in the book of Psalms, Psalms 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and those who are crushed in spirit. And today, as we are brokenhearted and as we are so crushed in spirit, may the Lord draw near to each and every one of us. May He hold us in our grief and strengthen us when we feel we cannot go on. And remind us that even in our deepest sorrow, we are not alone. To Maku, to Natalie, to Nala, you are so deeply loved. You will be profoundly missed. And thank you for all the beautiful memories which will remain tucked away in our hearts. Thank you.
Zvorwadza zvinosirisa mhuri yeZimbabwe ndizvo zviri kuitika munyika medu. Isusu seZimu News Media tiripo pakutsvagira nyaya. Tinouya nenyaya semaonero atinenge tadziita, hatina chatinowedzera kana kutapudza. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, comment and share. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Kuitira next time patino upload a video, unoita wekutanga kusangana naro. Thank you so much for watching our video. For that, I am signing out.